Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing this Indian Chieftain. I'm really excited to get out on it. It's my first time on kind of a lighter bagger. Obviously I've ridden the Roadmaster before, which if you've seen the review you know I was very impressed with. But also if you've watched the channel you know that I've long lusted after a Chieftain. Now obviously I lusted after the Dark Horse version, but this I'm really excited to ride. Just because it'll give me a feel for how that would feel. I'll talk about aesthetics later, you know, that's not really important, but what we will be doing is we'll be riding this, which is the 111 cubic inch engine Indian Chieftain. I'll put the actual, you know, human size up above. But anyway, before I harp on too long, let's get out there on the bike and see what I think about it. Hello and welcome back. So today, as you would have seen already on the intro, I am riding an Indian Chieftain and I'm really happy I get to ride one. I just want to shout out Franklin for letting me out on this bike today, and also they've let out Moto Dragon on the Zero, the electric bike which I rode before, the SRF. Not the same one as I rode because that is sold. But they let me out on this, they let him out on the Zero, and I just want to say massive thanks to them again, as always. Really do appreciate the opportunity to do this, because no one else has let me yet. And I couldn't make these videos without their support. So I have third cam mounted down on the left, as you can see, and I hope that gives a good image as well. But I don't even need to close down my visor at the moment. It's really windy today and I don't need to close my visor just because, you know, I have all the fairings. You'll also notice that I'm not wearing gloves, and that's because I forgot to put them on. And I don't feel like I need to stop because I'm so well protected. And that, let's get straight into it. Let's get into your ergonomics, right? And so far, now I only rode this bike down to fill it up with fuel, as you can see. And also, you know, just as far as we are now. And I have to say, I'm really comfortable, like so unbelievably comfortable. This is probably a better fit bike for me than the Roadmaster was. And there's not much mileage on it, 22,000 kilometers. I would honestly, and I'll go through it in aesthetics, but this is a bike I would absolutely love to have, you know. Just already I'm so comfortable. And something else ergonomically that I know might not occur to a lot of people, but the fact it's a bagger, it takes so much pressure off me all around, because all my camera, all my gear is in the bags, you know. So all the controls, the one thing I don't really like is the radio controls. They're kind of hard to reach a little bit, but nothing, you know, nothing major. You know, all the other controls are easy to get to. The common ones like your lights, your indicators, all that stuff, easy to get to, not a problem. The seat and the floorboards are so comfortable. I think more comfortable than the Roadmaster, which is an odd one because the Roadmaster is the more premium model. I just don't think it fit me as well, or I don't know what it was. I just felt more cramped now that I'm sitting on this one. This one is, I'm so comfortable, so comfortable. Now the fairings are keeping all the wind off my hands. The gearing on it is just so nice, but we'll get into that later. So all around ergonomics, massive thumbs up, you know. Everything, I can see everything now. I know this is blocking it, hopefully you can see it all on the GoPro, but everything is really legible, you know. And you have your ability to swap it between kilometers and miles and all that good stuff. It's not a big deal, but just all around, you know, where my legs are, my knee angle, everything is so comfy. So while we're stopped, we'll keep talking about it, you know. The fact you have the bars, you know, you can put highway pegs on this if you want, but the floorboards, all the controls, really nice, easy to get to. You know, the gear lever is really soft. Clutch, easy to engage. Brake is lovely, and the rear brake is lovely due to that large footprint of it. So yeah, I think that really closes out ergonomics. It's a really comfy bike. It's a lot lighter than the Roadmaster, so a lot comfier in traffic, and when you're moving off, you know, that's perfectly comfortable between my legs. But all around ergonomics are lovely. Which brings us on a bit to power, which is absolutely smooth as butter. Now, this being a big V-twin, a big air-cooled V-twin, it's not going to be the fastest bike on the road, but that doesn't matter. It's not what it's for. It's not supposed to be the fastest bike on the road. It's supposed to be one of the most comfortable, and it is that. And what power and torque are made for on a bike like this is your comfort. I'll just let this car get ahead, and we'll go. You can see that when you want to go, this bike has it in spades. It's, you know, it's more than enough power for a bike like this. I don't want any more, to be honest. I am more than comfortable with that amount, and that's what it's about. You know, that 11 cubic inch air-cooled V-twin. It's built at keeping you comfortable. That's what this is for. This is for long-range cruising. And I'll put it to you this way, right? If I'd had this bike coming up here this morning from Cork instead of my Phaser, I know I would have been a hell of a lot more comfortable than I was on the Phaser. Just because, like put it this way, I haven't needed to close my visor yet. That should say it all, you know? But again, I'm getting away from that, and what I should be talking about still is the power. But that's how good this bike is built in its power, that it's not designed to be a race bike, it's designed to be a comfortable bike. And it does that really, really, really well, because even every time I try to talk about the power, it brings me back to how comfortable it is. So for me, that is perfectly designed. But that said, when you want to move, you still have the move in spades. And just pulling away here like this, so you have, it sounds lovely, it feels lovely, and it's plenty powerful for what it's designed to do. You're never gonna feel like this is an underpowered bike when you ride it like it's designed. Obviously, if you go and buy this, or you go and test ride this, and you're expecting a sports bike, you're going to be horrendously disappointed. But that's not the bike's fault. That's your fault for getting the wrong bike. So, power and handling, I am extremely impressed. Like, even from third gear there now, low down, it just pulls along beautifully well. I haven't even needed to leave fourth. I can go into fifth. It does it once and into sixth, and it still pulls just fine for what you want it to do. And the last thing I will say, and something that you'd often expect with these big V-twins, is that they're very buzzy, they're very vibraty. And I have to say, this one just isn't. This one is very comfortable, very smooth. So yeah, for me, power, torque, aces. Really, really nice. Really impressed with how it delivers that power to the ground. It never feels out of shape. It never feels twitchy. It's a nice, smooth, even power delivery. And while we're in this traffic, I want to start on handling and suspension. Slow speed handling is very impressive. You know, taking off, perfect. Maneuvering the bike around is very good. And I'll be honest, everything I'm doing on this bike, I am comparing directly to the Roadmaster I rode, which is to be expected, as the Roadmaster is kind of the more premium model of this bike, or the bigger one anyway, top of the line, the big daddy-o, the one that you would think everyone would lust after. The suspension, very nice. Like the road I'm on, it isn't the bumpiest, granted, but for instance there, over that speed bump, I didn't even feel it in the seat of my pants. Obviously I bent over a bit because I probably could have hit it slower, to be fair, but for instance this one now, smooth as silk. Didn't even feel it. So to finish off, handling and suspension, obviously this is a fairly standard setup for Indians. You got your air suspension in the back, and you got your big twin forks. You got your big forks up front. Of course they're twin forks, you can't have one. And it handles everything perfectly. The steering angle, the bars, everything. It's just a really well appointed bike, and it feels really balanced. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oof. Oof. So handling and suspension, like I said, aces. But you know, in the twisties here, for instance, and I know it's very slow speed twisties, but again, it's kind of what this bike is made for. But it handles lovely, you know, it's actually quite flickable for a bike of its relative size. The wind does catch it a bit. I'm going to close my visor now. The wind does catch it just a little bit, I won't lie to you. But that's kind of to be expected, and the fact that it's not a frame mounted fairing, you do feel it on your hands a bit. Nothing major, nothing that's going to put me off the bike or anything, but just that you do know it's there. So then we're going to talk about cost, and this is something that I feel Indian and Ireland are always going to have a disadvantage over. You know, as a biker, I think I feel the same as everyone else. I would like there to be an open trade policy. I would like there to be an open trade policy, because at the moment in Ireland you have to pay a premium to import an American built bike, which is a massive pity, because I think on the cost of these, and I'll throw the cost of this particular bike up on screen now. With the cost of them, that's kind of where they fall down, is that, you know, they have that extra premium tagged on just to get them into this country. It's not the manufacturer's fault, it's not the bike's fault. I'm not saying this bike isn't worth, you know, the money, but if I was living in America, I would be buying this bike far sooner than living here. So aesthetically, what do I think about this bike? I really like it, you know. I really like how it looks. I really like how it's put together. Same kind of as the Roadmaster, to be honest. They're very, very similar in kind of style and design. I really like the engine bars on this bike, and the engine. Obviously the engine, to be honest, is a bit of a masterpiece. I really, really like the V-twin look anyway, but this one, just with all the cooling fins and everything else in there, really good. And something else I noticed, this right here, that is a nice touch on the actual, I don't know what you call that, the frame, obviously. The bags you'll also see, I really like how these are put together. So obviously, being a bagger, you know, it's a bit of a different bike to what I usually ride, but I really like that as well. Floorboards, really, really good. Really like how this is put together. Obviously, engine cover, gorgeous, and that big 111 cover here, also very, very nice. The Indian finish on the tank, really, really crisp. As always, the paint is really good on these. And then the actual bags themselves also look nice and are very, very functional and spacious. So overall, without talking too much about it, I really like the overall outside look of the bike. I'm not mad on the kind of front fender. Wouldn't be my style, but overall the bike is really good. Again, colour wouldn't be my style, but it's very, very well finished, which is the main thing with these. From where you're sitting, it's also very nice. You know, you got this lovely leather strap here up onto, you know, all the other little finishes. So switch gear looks really good. Mirrors are the same as on the Roadmaster and Scout, really, really good. And obviously your dash and display, which is also very, very nice on this bike, in my opinion. So other than that, I don't have much else to say on the actual aesthetics of this bike. I like them. Colour wouldn't really be my style, and this model, say, of this bike wouldn't really be my style, just because of the fairing design, whatever else. But overall, for me, very, very good, well put together. And that's the main thing. You can customize these, you don't have to have that fender. But I love the hard cases, I love the tank, and I love the fairing. You would have heard about aesthetics by now. So what am I going to go through? I'm going to go through a bit of final thoughts on this bike, and I'll finish them off when we're standing still. But for me, I really like this bike, and I knew I would. I've always wanted a Chieftain, to be quite honest. Ever since I first laid mine eyes on one, I wanted a Chieftain. And the reason why is just because it's that feeling. It's what I'm doing right now. This kind of, you know, it's not a power cruiser, it's a comfy cruiser. It has power, sure, absolutely. Get in, yes. It has, oh nice. It has plenty of power. and it has plenty of, you know, the ability to go reasonably fast for what it is. But it's not what it's for. It's for this. It's for cruising along the coast, enjoying the sights, enjoying the sounds. That's what it's for. So for me, would I buy this bike? Absolutely. I really like it. In fact, even with, you know, aesthetically that it isn't my favorite, as I mentioned, I'd buy this very bike and, you know, make it my own. Make it how I want it to look, because this is so goddamn comfy. It's so well put together. It feels solid, and this one has 22,000 kilometers on it. So if it feels this good after 22,000 kilometers, you know, how good do you think it'll feel brand new? I know 22,000 kilometers is essentially brand new, of course. You know, when I rode the Roadmaster, I came away from that pretty happy, because like I said there, I didn't think I would buy a Roadmaster. I thought I'd want a Chieftain, and I didn't have the opportunity to ride a Chieftain at the time, but I knew I'd prefer the weight of it, the fact that it was essentially same power, same engine, very similar setup, just lighter. And you know, I'm even more Grand ripped at them. Ah, excellent. I'm even more impressed with this bike than I thought I'd be. Honestly, there's not many better ways I'd like to enjoy this view than the smell of the fire blade in front of me and on this bike. And that's the thing, right? Actually, yeah, before I go too far and stop and finish this off entirely, I know a lot of people, you know, would think that this bike, you can't be friends with someone who has one of those bikes. Let me let down the screen. And yes, there is an electronic screen on this also. I think that's very wrong. I think you definitely can have, you know, spins with people who have those type of bikes when you have this type of bike. Of course you can. Just organize to meet somewhere. You don't have to, you know, be together all the time. It doesn't matter. Anyone who likes, I think, a good looking bike, you know, a classic style bike, they'd like this bike. Anyone who wants a comfortable cruiser, anyone who likes something that they can, you know, go long distance on and not have anything on their back and not worry about installing a top box, etc., they would like this bike. Don't get this bike if you want to be throwing mad lean angles, anything like that, because it won't work. You know, you won't enjoy this bike. It's not for you. But if you like the air-cooled noise, if you like the design of air-cooled bikes like I do, then this is a bike for you, you know. And if you like the styling of Indian, which I do, I love the styling of Indian. I love what they're doing with all their bikes, particularly their more modern ones. The FTR is beautiful. You know, the FTR is beautiful. Just all around, everything they've done recently is really nice. If you're the cruiser type of person, this bike is for you, definitely. If you like Indians, this bike is for you. If you like cool, air-cooled engines, cool, well, I hope it's cool. I made a joke. This bike is for you, you know. The brakes on this are bloody incredible when they need to go. Now it's windy again. Yeah, that's probably better. Look at that. That's cool. That's a lot of mist and rain coming in, I would say. So final thoughts on this bike. I really like it. I'd love to buy one. I'd love to own one. I'd love to, you know, do some bits and pieces with it. It really is a nice machine. And anyone who likes this style of bike, I think the Indian Chieftain is a great call. I think definitely you should have a look at one. If you want something like this and you want it used at a reasonable price, give Franklin a shout, because this one is a peach. The brakes on it are bloody excellent. You know, you got those braided brake lines up front, and the rear brake is just solid as a rock. Very impressed with it all around. Very impressed with the bike all around. So look, I will finish up this video. I've spoken too long. So would I recommend you buy this bike, this exact bike? Yes, absolutely. You know, aside from the few aesthetic things that I don't personally like, it's a bloody great bike. And yeah, I'd buy it. I would, honestly. If I had the money, I'd buy this one and fix it up the way I want it to be fixed up. If you watched, thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this review. And just one last time, a massive thank you to Franklin Motorcycles in Dublin in Swords. If you're looking for a bike of any type, give them a ring. They do stock other things other than Indians. They have Zeros, they have Mutt motorcycles. Just huge shout out to them for being great. Pure and simple. Yeah, if you've enjoyed this review, make sure you like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching. Adios.